What is up, ninjas? My name is Sen World, and today we are going to be learning how to make this lead right here. Now, the lead is going to be from the new Marcelo Chic Soundbank, which is called My Sound Is Your Sound, which I helped make with him. And pretty much it's going to contain a lot of that kind of style of stuff, guys. You know, mainly that future bounce, as you guys some call it. So I wanted to teach you guys how to make this lead. I've already taught you how to make the Haunted Jacks one, which is in the bank as well. Other sounds in the bank are going to be just the standard ones that they've used, and also the Tetris one from Mesto, and some of the Mesto stuff is in there too. Now, this one is going to be fairly easy. Again, these sounds are fairly easy to make. However, they're kind of just difficult in the sense because, you know, it's like you just have to figure out the right, first off, the right pretty much layers, and then figure out the right effects to use in the right tantrum with the right dry and wet, with the right settings, with the right, what. Okay, so let's get started. All right, guys, so oscillator A, oscillator B, they're all both going to be saw waves. The only difference between the both is going to be in the amount of PWM, and one of them is going to have the PWM being modulated by an LFO. Very simple stuff. Now, they're both going to be, one of them is going to be at one voice, which is going to sound like this. The other one's going to be at 8 voices with a little bit of detunement. This is going to be more of the vocal kind of aspect of it, because we're going to be applying a chorus, which is going to help and kind of just make it sound a little bit like it sounds like a choir, I guess. So, as you can see, this is the layer together. This just adds kind of like this layer you added in the back of it. Okay, so first, oscillator A is 1 unison. Don't worry about these settings here. Nothing's going to happen. PWM is set to about, let's say, 2 o'clock. And you're going to click here and go to PWM. Now, the PWM right now is my favorite modulation that you can use in Serum, just because of the idea that you can kind of just squeeze the shit out of a wavetable. You know, like, you know, when you squeeze, you know what I'm saying, and stuff. So, you know, it makes it sound a lot more thinner. I've explained this before already, but this helps in getting those kind of really thinnish but strong sounds that you hear a lot in dance music right now. Now, the levels is there by default, and then we'll apply the LFO later. Oscillator B is just a saw again. We're going to put the PWM, but this is going to be way less. We're going to put 8 unison, which means 8 voices, 8 saws coming out. That's why you see 8 lines. The 2 minute is set to 0.10, and the blend is set to 75. Other than that, everything is set by default. The level is set 75%, and PWM is not going to get modulated by an LFO. The filter has nothing to do here, so don't worry about that. I just used the filter to increase the volume of it. So pretty much I added a drive section here, as you guys can see. You can just increase the master volume, or you can go and make an LFO with a low pass, turn it on, cut off all the way to the right, and just increase the drive if you choose to do it as well. The next thing is the LFO. LFO is set to default. We're going to increase the speed all the way up, the rate all the way up to, I believe it was 1/256. And we're just going to drag it over here like that. And we want to make sure that it is going in one direction. So you're going to see yours like this, 2 arrows. You click on it. You want to go in one direction and 1 arrow. And this is just going to add like this kind of little movement to your sound, which is not going to be that noticeable, but it does make a little bit of a difference, I feel. Especially when you correlate that with the hyper and dimension as we're going to use, which is the secret to the sound, pretty much. Now, envelope 3 is going to be special because we've done it in everything. We're just going to be a fast envelope modulation to the CRS, aka the pitch of both sounds, to get them to sound a lot more punchier. Now, in this area, we're going to make them sound like they're getting sucked out or sucked in. You know, remember this? And decay is set to, I believe it was 70, so we're going to put it at 60. It doesn't matter. We're going to route this to CRS here, and we're going to route this to CRS here. You're going to make this pretty much be like -12 on both ends. -12, -11, -13 is fine. We're going to go to the matrix and make it go in one direction, and we're going to make it go backwards. Now, this is going to give us this kind of effect where it lags a little bit. You know, if we were to take it off, let's see, remove modulation and remove modulation. That's how it sounds like. You see, it loses that kind of character, so we go and we're going to add the matrix. We're going to do this, and we're going to move it back to -12, -11, as I stated. And you can see it gives it that just extra spunk, in my opinion. It gives it that character. It's like you have a basic girl, and she has nothing to her. You know, flat butt, moderate tits, no personality. But then you add this, and then, you know, she has this amazing personality, and now you get that fucking sound. Now the next thing is the hyper, guys. The hyper is going to be turned on, the mix all the way up, 4 unison, the 2 minutes set to 46%, the rate is set to 16, and dimension is going to make this wider. We're going to put it at 33%, size is at 24%. The reason for the dimension, guys, is just going to be to widen it. It uses the Haas effect, aka makes the sound lag on one end of the speaker. So then it kind of hits like dun dun, but it happens so fast your brain picks it up as just hearing it once, and it sounds wider for some weird reason. But if you listen closely and you train your ears, you'll be able to pick it up every time someone uses it. Now the chorus is cool because, again, the choir or chorus, whatever you're gonna call it, is gonna give us that effect, especially with correlation with oscillator B. It's gonna make it sound a lot more, you know, wider, and also it's gonna give it like kind of that element of a choir, I guess you could say. Mix is set to 50% on this. LFBF is set to 1000, which is just a low pass filter to EQ out any, you know, abnormalities that you might find. The feedback at 10, depth all the way up, delay at 0.8, delay 1 at 1.6. This is how you pretty much get the chorus effect, guys. Like, if you ever want to make something sound like it's a shit ton of people talking, people are never going to talk exactly on the dot. Like, they're not going to all be like, hello, and, you know, all at the same time. Usually it tends to be like someone says hello a split second before or after someone else, so you get this kind of hello, and it sounds like a big kind of crowd talk saying it. So this is the delay function. It's going to pretty much do that. It's going to delay like one portion of the sound, so you want to delay them. You don't want the delays to ever be the same if you want it to work like that. Okay, now we go into the delay section, which is just going to be pretty much a standard delay that it has, and it's just a mix is set to 16% on it. Compressor, we're not using the multi-band, you know, surprisingly on this one, but we are going to be using just a normal compressor. Threshold -19. Compressors are going to tend to glue stuff together, so you're going to get more parts of the sound popping out after you make up the loss in volume. So that's what the threshold is there, and then again you make up the loss in volume that you see from this meter here. The reverb, very standard, 20%, not much to it. And EQ, just boosting up in the high end. And with that being said, you should be able to get this sound. As you guys can see, there's no processing going on outside here in the channel, and as you guys can see, the sound sounds like that. Anyways, guys, hopefully this video was helpful for you. Hopefully it helps you achieve that sound. Make sure to check out the new bank, at least give me that. And check out the new Marcelo Chic sound bank. It's called My Sound Is Your Sound. Support it if you can, so I can buy new camera equipment and make some funny videos out, you know, maybe at the beach or something. I'll see you guys next time. Take care, ninjas, and keep on rocking.